Keep in mind, I am the only person I see. There is nobody coming down the escalators with me. There is nobody by the baggage claim. And it's like a fake baggage claim because there's officers all around it.
So wasting taxpayer money, assumably.
And there was also nobody else held where I was at. From that point, after taking my phone, my passport, all my bags, they had asked me when, where, and why if I had any trips planned.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, it's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. ICE has been drastically ramping up its efforts to arrest U.S. citizens who express any kind of dissent or criticism of Trump and his administration. So the latest in this is from TikTok user Eyes of Sav, a U.S. citizen who was born and raised here with a global entry card, which basically means you're pre-approved to move through customs and all that faster at the airport. She posted about a week ago that on a recent return trip from Spain, where she had been for like a month, she was detained at the Miami airport by ICE agents 4 hours while they searched through her belongings, her phone, and her social media accounts. It just so happens that Eyes of Sav is publicly critical of Trump and also runs a clothing brand, Trump for the Dump, which makes t-shirts that have, anti-Trump slogans, essentially. She says those proceeds are then donated to organizations that Trump is defunding. So here's her website. It says the t-shirts say things like impeach the peach, Trump for the Dump, elect a clown, expect a circus, all this kind of stuff. And it says, turning frustration into impact, one item at a time. Our merch turns anger into action with proceeds supporting organizations fighting for change. Warning, wearing these may cause triggered debates and make your conservative neighbor do a double take. So it's all pretty innocuous stuff in the current climate. Nothing really all that radical. And again, this woman is a U.S. citizen, and she was detained by ICE 4 hours while coming back into the U.S. So she posted on social media her basically her account of what happened. So let's listen to what happened here.
So I posted a video a couple days ago talking about how I got detained as a United States citizen born and raised. And I'm just going to go over everything, give you guys the entire story and all the details. I was coming back from Spain. I was in Spain for about a month or so. I had a layover in Berlin, Germany for around 2 hours, and then I came into the United States. Here's my global entry card, because a lot of you guys don't believe that I did have global entry. Yes, I do have global entry, and this still happens to me. I still got detained. I went through the global entry line, they scanned my eyes, and I continued walking. I had the green check mark, and then an officer told me I needed to go to the right. So I go to the right, I get asked questions by another officer. He asked me where I'm coming from and what I did for work. I answered TikTok, as I do have other accounts that I am very social on that have thousands of followers. Then he asked me to step into this box looking thing. It's about, 3 sides, and then he told me another officer will come and grab me. That officer then took me to a room, which I did insert a photo of, and I will give you guys again here. Which this is the first room I was taken to. So that is the original first room. There was people of all skin colors. I know a lot of people think I was the only minority. And that's where I was asked my father's citizenship status. My father is an American citizen. He has been for the last 25 years before I was born. I did not have the answers to any of those questions because I would not know. From there, they told me to sit back down, and then they transferred me to another room. That other room, the officer asked me what I did for work, exactly why I was traveling. I said the same thing. I did TikTok, and that's why I was traveling, and I wanted to stay there for longer. From that point, I normally saw people either leave after the first room or the second room. They were just good to go. For some reason, they had me go. Now, another officer was escorting me down to the escalators past Border Patrol. From there is this baggage claim area. There was an officer standing in front of this baggage claim. Keep in mind, this is all blocked off. And then there's another officer on the other side. When I was there, my baggage already had been taken for some odd reason. So he told me to continue walking. Then there's rooms, and that's where they asked me to provide my social media accounts for them to go through my TikTok, my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Facebook. As well as show them how much I was making daily on TikTok and show them the deposits that were being made on TikTok. And again, why I was traveling. It's the same questions all over again. From that point on, if you keep walking, they make you keep walking.
Those are crazy questions to ask someone. How much money this woman makes at her job, making TikTok content should not be a question that is of any interest to ICE.
And that is where they will go through your luggage. They dumped out all my things on the counter, and they were asking me if I was the only person that had packed my bags. Of course, I said yes. but it was the worst search I've ever seen in my entire life. They dumped everything out. They didn't open anything. I had pill bottles that were, in like colored containers because that's how my medication came. They didn't even open them. So I don't understand what they even searched. And then again, I was asked the same questions about what I do for work, why I was traveling, for how long I was traveling, and then more again about my father. Keep in mind where they searched all my stuff after the room is like this pentagon, octagon looking thing, like basically underneath the Miami airport, where there's around 40 officers that are just like on their phones doing I don't even know what. And so that's how like that setup looked. It's like extremely scary. Keep in mind, I am the only person I see. There is nobody coming down the escalators with me. There is nobody by the baggage claim. And it's like a fake baggage claim because there's officers all around it.
So wasting taxpayer money, assumably.
And there was also nobody else held where I was at. From that point, after taking my phone, my passport, all my bags, they had asked me when, where, and why if I had any trips planned.
That does sound exceedingly scary. Being down there by yourself without anyone, kind of representing you or your interests, with a bunch of like ICE agents surrounding you, that does not sound like a very comfortable situation for anyone.
And when, where, and why, and for how long. I had no clue. I still don't have a clue. I do not plan to leave the US yet. So I answered no, and he proceeded to literally scream in my face 4 times, and I told him no every single time. After about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, and during this entire thing, I was finally let go after telling them no, that I had no plans to leave the United States. I was, again, handed to around 5 different officers, I'm not sure if I made that clear, and put in around 3 to 4 different rooms. I believe 4. My parents just came back from Mexico, and nothing happened to them.
That is crazy. I mean, how would she even know? What if something comes up a couple of months from now that takes her out of the US? What then? These questions are clearly designed to intimidate and restrict people's movements, especially those people who are critical of the administration, which clearly this influencer has been. So as she said, after 3 hours, they finally let her go. 3 hours and being reassured that she has no other plans of leaving the US, they finally let her go. And again, asking her questions about, her father's citizenship, who she says has been a citizen of the U.S. He was from Panama, but has been a citizen of the U.S. for 25 years. I mean, clearly they were trying to dig up anything that they could on her. And I am impressed with her ability to be able to, recall all of the details about where she was taken, who was there, and the kind of questions that they asked her, which again, we're dealing with her work and how much money she makes making TikTok content, which is again, an insane thing that ICE would be asking this woman about. So I want to skip ahead to some of the recap that she gives at the end.
They were completely fine. They went through. They also have global entry. No questions asked at all. And they came in through the Phoenix airport. This happened in the Miami airport. I also want to let you guys know that I am very political on my accounts. I literally have a clothing brand called Trump for the Dump, making meme shirts of Trump, and then it's a nonprofit, so we donate to organizations that he's defunding. I also want to say that I post on my Instagram stories and my TikTok a lot of things anti-Trump and anti-MAGA, whatever you want to call it. So that is a red flag for them. So yeah, my Instagram wasn't completely clean. They didn't do anything about it. They kind of just took my phone and searched through everything. I don't really know what they were looking for. I don't have more answers. I complied with every single thing that they asked. I didn't give them a hard time about anything because I'm more scared than anything.
And what they were looking for was anything that they could find. And clearly they just came up with, this girl has a TikTok account where she's critical of the administration and makes these t-shirts and donates profits to organizations they are trying to defund out of existence. They were looking for anything else, any other excuse to detain her. And after Stephen Miller's announcement last week about potentially suspending habeas corpus or the right to due process to not be unlawfully imprisoned or detained, I'm not surprised that she said she's scared. We all should be. And asking about her travel plans and that whole ordeal is an attempt to restrict movement and intimidate this influencer into keeping quiet. Just this past Friday, as I'm sure everyone has already seen, Mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, was arrested for protesting at the new ICE Immigration Detention Center, Delaney Hall in Newark, where Baraka had been protesting. with 3 other New Jersey representatives, so Robert Menendez, LaMonica McIver, and Bonnie Watson Coleman. And it just so happened that this occurred the same day that Stephen Miller announced that the White House is considering suspending the right to due process. And as I said then, when we reported on this on Friday, it's not just immigrants who can then be disappeared without being able to defend themselves. It is all of us. It's anyone who expresses something the administration doesn't like, or if you are like this influencer, someone who, is vocally critical and sells t-shirts that say things like "fuck Trump." And apparently the White House has been toying around with the idea of arresting the other representatives that Baraka had been protesting with. And even some Republicans are uncomfortable with this. So this is from yesterday. A GOP rep calls ICE threat to arrest Democratic reps very drastic. We can peacefully protest in this country. Texas Republican Representative Michael McCall said Sunday the possibility that some House Democrats could face arrest for their actions outside a New Jersey ICE facility is obviously a very drastic step in the situation. The mayor of Newark was already arrested in connection with the protests, sparking outrage among other Democrats. House Foreign Affairs Committee and House Homeland Security Committee member Representative McCall joined CBS News senior political correspondent and host Ed O'Keefe for Sunday's edition of Face the Nation and talked mostly about President Donald Trump on the topics of Israel, Ukraine, and foreign affairs. But on the subject of arrest of Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, McCall seemed cautious. The Department of Homeland Security and Trump border czar Tom Homan have already indicated there could be arrests coming of several House Democrats, New Jersey representatives Bonnie Watson Coleman, LaMonica McIver, and Robert Menendez Jr. in relation to the protest at a New Jersey ICE detention center based on body cam footage from the scene they say shows the representatives assaulting ICE officers. We showed that video last week, and you can draw your own conclusions from that. That is not the conclusion that I have come to. You can't cross that line, said Homan on Saturday. McCall expressed somewhat the same view in his Sunday interview, but with the implicit caveats that he isn't sure whether they actually did cross it. I'm just curious, should ICE be arresting or even threatening to arrest members of Congress, O'Keefe asked. I mean, that's obviously a very drastic move. I would only do that if they were complicit with a crime, he said. I don't know all the facts behind this. If they were just visiting a detention center, I've done that many times. If they're disrupting if they're disrupting law enforcement, that's another question. McCall said that it will come down to whether Democrats impeded law enforcement or were complicit with gang violence against our law enforcement. Of course, they weren't complicit with gang violence. That's insane. They were protesting, which people do not seem to understand is by definition supposed to be disruptive. That is the whole point. And again, like I said last week, not going to defend Baraka and act like the video and the publicity was not a gift to a Democrat running for governor right now, but arresting elected officials is taking this to a totally different level. And the amount of power that ICE has already amassed should be very scary to everyone. I want to play a video from Now This that they put out yesterday about how to protect yourself from ICE if they show up at your door. I'm going to play most of it because I think the subject is important and maybe someone watching this needs to see this information, but also it says a lot about where we are at as a country right now. So here is this video.
It was 5:30 a.m. when ICE came to Esther's apartment. ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The agents lied to Esther, saying they were police officers investigating a crime and her husband, Alexei, was a potential witness. Is Alexei home? They asked innocently. Now Esther's gut told her she should cooperate, but she remembered something she'd heard on the radio. ICE had been making early morning sweeps using tricks like this to get people to open their doors. Esther remembered she had rights. ICE may try similar tricks at your home. They may say they're looking for a friend, relative, or roommate. But do not be fooled, and do not open the door. Instead, remain calm and be polite. Tell the agents that you'd like to see a warrant and their ID. Ask them to slip these documents under the door or hold them up to the peephole. Without a warrant signed by a judge, ICE is not allowed to enter or search your home. ICE usually won't have a warrant, but they may lie and say they do or show you something else that looks official. So look carefully and take pictures of whatever they show you. If they refuse to share any of these documents, then ask them for their card and contact information. Do not show the agents anything or say anything except, "I do not consent for you to enter my home. I do not want to talk to you without a lawyer present. Please leave." Now, ICE won't always listen to you and may enter your home using force. But saying these things might help you in court, even if the agents don't listen. The other videos in this series will help you understand your rights if ICE enters your home or arrests you. Esther and Alexei knew their rights, and the officers left.
This video is exceedingly chilling, I think, and the rest of it kind of outlines further steps to take if ICE does show up at your door, like writing down everything that happened during the encounter, and having a sort of like predetermined plan with your family, with your loved ones, for just in case ICE shows up at your door. Again, this is exceedingly dystopian, and watching this just, for me, that now this felt it was necessary to produce a series for residents of the United States about how to protect yourself if an agency representing our government shows up at your door, tells me everything that I need to know about how far we have gone, how much this is all accelerated over the last few months. If this is not indicative of a descent into fascism, I don't know what would be. This is essentially a public announcement about a public service announcement about how to protect yourself from the state. And again, if this doesn't tell you everything that you need to know about where we are at right now, I don't know what would be good enough. That's it for me on this. Thank you guys for watching. Please do like, follow, and subscribe to Status Coup News. If you want to see more reporting like this, please consider becoming a paid member of Status Coup. You can do that at statuscoup.com/join, and you can join us for as little as $5 a month. And again, it helps us to produce more reporting and do more on-the-ground reporting. If you want to see John and I out covering more protests, please do become a member so that we can do more of that. Again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.